Hey there, StarCraft fans. It's Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Today we've got another game between Best and Light Terran Fighting Spirit. I know I just posted one of these back in March between these two players on this very same map, but it is not the same game. Alright, bottom left-hand corner, we have the orange Terran player. It is Light. And in the bottom right-hand corner, the teal Protoss player. His name is Best. Alright, so Best versus Light here for you. A bit of a rematch. The first game between these players was very interesting. It is the game that has the most use of carriers I've seen on my channel in a remastered cast ever. Yeah, Best over here really went for that carrier thing. Light knew exactly what to do to not get ruffle stomped by it. I won't tell you who won, but it was an excellent example of what Brood War has to offer, and I really encourage you to go check that one out. I might try to put a link to it in the top right here, but if I forget, which I very well may do, I do post a lot of casts, and sometimes I forget what I said and what I promised in each one exactly. But I'll put a link to it in the description or in the comments or whatever. Remind me if you'd like to see that and can't find it on my channel. I do have a Brood War playlist if you want to go back and look at the different ones that I posted here, but anyways, glad to have you here. I have recently started doing 2 Brood War casts per week. The response from the Brood War community on YouTube has just been immense. You guys have really enjoyed seeing remastered casts out here from somebody who has some experience casting, which I do. I've been casting StarCraft 2 and the Brood Wars for about 3 years now, and I have, boy, a thousand casts on my channel at this point, 20,000 subs. So hopefully I have a general sense of what I'm doing. Although my early Brood War casts were admittedly shaky, wasn't quite into the flow of things. I've played a lot of Brood War in my day, but my information is perhaps was a little bit shaky at the time. So I've beefed up on it. I've watched a couple casts, watched a couple things from the Day 9, and hopefully I can give just an all-around entertaining and educational and super fun Brood War remastered cast. So those of you who are looking for it, as I feel like some of y'all are. Anyway, yeah, 2 Brood War casts. One on Tuesday, one on Saturday. If you happen to be in the Americas and Europe, I guess. If you're outside of those areas, perhaps it doesn't match up quite that nicely, but you get the picture. Basically one every 3 days or so. Honestly, I might look at picking it up a little bit more in the future, just because the StarCraft 2 cast view count is just kind of plummeting a little bit. It makes me sad. I love StarCraft 2. I love Brood War. They're like my children's. I love them equally, but I don't know. The response has not been as good lately for the StarCraft 2, and it makes me sad. Oh, one more thing. I do want to ask you guys, if you want me to cast high-level stuff, send me replays. Send me your Brood War replays from players you want to see with really exciting games to falconpaladin@gmail.com with the subject of Brood War Remastered. I'll check them out, because I am spending a lot of time each week trying to dig out what replays you guys want to see. There seems to be a finite number of these things, and I'm just worried about running out one day and just being able to say, or just having to say, so remember all these remastered games I'm casting? That's not happening anymore. Sorry, guys. So yeah, hit me up, falconpaladin@gmail.com with the subject of Brood War Remastered. SCV Scout, man, they can take so many shots from a Dragoon. And, oh, that's it. Oh, no, one more? Really? Wow. Okay, one more hit and toast. Good scout, though. Did see the Cybernetics core working on that Singularity charge upgrade, increasing the range of Dragoons. No real surprise, though. Really, I mean, Dragoons are a huge staple in TVP. They are just the majority of what you want to make if you happen to be a Protoss player, especially if you're putting some pressure on your Terran opponent early. Dragoons with range are just fantastic against bunkers, against Marines. That range upgrade is amazing. Meanwhile, Light is working on the Spider Mine upgrade for his Vultures, which is, again, a staple in TVP. Spider Mine, the average game that is a TVP will feature about 300 million Spider Mines. That's an actual fact if you look it up. It's just they will be everywhere. As soon as Light has those Vultures and has them ready to go with the Spider Mines, he'll start tossing them down in front of his base, in front of Best's base over here in the middle of the map, up in expansions. It's just wherever. Just toss them down. They're free explosions and free kills if Best isn't paying attention to where he is. So Barracks floating on up here. It looks like we're done with the bio, if I had to guess, or is this just part of a wall? Because there is a transition that most Terrans will make in a TVP where they start out with some bio, maybe a tank, Vulture or 2, but then it moves into just all factories all the time. So if he's going to land this thing or just provide vision, Oh, the siege mode is done. Is siege mode done? No, siege mode is not done. I forgot because he went for the spider mines instead. Yeah, spider mine wants to get hit off here, but these ranged dragoons are just good. They're good at their jobs. Oh, dang it. Spider mine did take one of them. I always forget I can't middle click and drag very well. It's incredibly sensitive and it's kind of choppy, and I really wish I had it, but I'll do a better job kind of clicking on the mini-map to get us where we need to go. Dragoons decide to head on home. They don't like the look of that tank. They don't like the look of the spider mines. Light went for those a little bit more quickly, I think, than Best was possibly trying to anticipate. Anyway, there's an engineering bay, and that is another factory. Okay, so yes, extra factories here. The barracks was providing some vision. Is going to land. Is he going to actually do anything with it is the question. Vulture speed. Wow, ion thrusters coming in for Light even before he goes for the siege. So he really wants these vultures to be fast and have them spider mines. Is he going to land any here? Thinking about it. Thinking about dropping some here at the front, but deciding essentially not to. Do they have they all used all their spider mines already? Because one of the things that you do want to do in the Brood War is use all your spider mines as fast as you have them. Because a vulture that dies with spider mines is a waste of spider mines. But there are some here. One of these at least has 3 spider mines waiting and ready to rock. Are we there yet? Yeah, okay, so one of them has the 3. Otherwise, none to be seen. So Vulture speed is just about done. I feel like he's going to go for a bit of a run by. He could sneak there and up the ramp and get inside of here and start wrecking some of the probes real fast. If they had that speed upgrade, and they almost do. They almost do. Missile turret in production for Light. Where is he putting that turret? Where is the turret? Can't click on it. Oh, here it is. It's by the engineering bay. So he's worried about drops, possibly worried about something coming up over here. The observer scouting does see this bit of a push here from Light coming right on up. The Dragoons want to do a bit of a flank. They want to be able to come in from different angles so the splash damage of the tanks does not wreck them. But siege mode isn't even done yet. No, the siege mode. Nothing here. And I think, yeah, Light says that's a lot of Dragoons for my tanks without siege mode. So I'm going to pull on back. Wait for that siege mode to complete, as it almost is here. Siege Tech, I suppose, is the official name of it. Spider mines getting tossed down. The observer can see the spider mines that are burrowed in the ground, and Dragoons with range are excellent at picking those out of the ground too. Vulture heading up north to do some scouting. Third base warping in for Best on the right side, while Light's taking a third of his own on the left side. So we're setting up for a pretty solid macro-style game here today on the Falcon Paladin channel. Vulture's trying to get on top of these guys, trying to drop some spider mines and hope to bait the Dragoons into them, but it's not really working out too well. That said, infinite shots from a Vulture will take down a Dragoon. This takes a lot. Oh, and the revenge. Revenge of the Dragoons. Whew! That distance really comes into play here. I mean, at the very least, the spider mine... Oh, did it get shot off? I don't think it did. I'm not convinced that it did there. Anyway, all the vultures are gone. Okay, just kidding. That vulture is now the last one to be killed. Spider mines set up. Vultures heading on back home. They were trying to reinforce, but decide not to. And tanks in full swing in production right now. As we do have an armory on the way. Another factory in production. More gas. You really need that gas to make the mech work here on the TVP. Getting somebody who is as good as the Best. Working on Citadel of Adun, and Zealot's likely going to be for Zealot leg enhancements. So they are zippy, because speed is a lot in StarCraft 2. If you have speedy units, you can do a lot of things. You can flank, you can counterattack, you can harass, you can close distances very fast. Whereas if you're slow, you got to walk up to the enemy unit, getting shelled the entire way, and it's just a bad thing. So either you can hit hard and you're slow, like these tanks, or hit hard and can't move at all, like tanks that are in siege mode, or you're fast, like Lings with speed, like the Zealots, and like, I don't know, let's say Marines. Let's say Marines are very quick too, but they hit hard as well. Anyway, tanks on the low ground. I like this positioning out of Best. This is not looking like a good, or out of Light. Not a great thing for Best here. Immediate shots. Did he just focus firing down the Nexus? Nope, he wants to kill these Dragoons. The Dragoons trying to come up and save themselves. In the meantime, the Vulture's swinging up this back way to help to assist with this one. The Dragoons are getting distracted by the Vultures on the backside. The tanks are doing a wonderful job clearing these guys out, but eventually Enough Dragoons are going to be here. Oh, the Observer gets picked out of the sky by the missile turret that was created. And it looks like, yeah, especially with the Zealot assistance here, they are slow Zealots, mind you, but they can close that gap well enough, especially against just a single tank. So it took some shots to the Nexus, not enough to actually get rid of any hull damage. Any of the, I don't know, the actual HP as compared to the shields. So the shields will regenerate, no big deal. Pretty good hold from a pretty precarious position by Best. More Vultures hanging on out. Spider Mines here to potential 4th base location for Best. Vultures trying to sneak on in here. And just tossing down additional Spider Mines that just really, at this point, it's just work for the Dragoons to clear out. It slows them down. It uses APM. It makes Best worry about things other than attacking the Terran player if he has to clear out Spider Mines. It's kind of the same purpose as minefields in real life. It just requires a lot of time and a lot of work to clear those things out. And it's time that could be spent doing other more important things, but it's work that has to be done. Alright, Vultures trying to swing on up. I don't know exactly if they want to chase down these Dragoons or what. Maybe sneak up here, but that pylon wall is going to block them out very, very nicely indeed. And what is this? Single Vulture in the top right, just scouting. Making sure that Best isn't taking an additional base in that top right-hand corner. Stasis field on the way. It's an Arbiter ability. We're going to see some Arbiter recall, some Stasis, which is just a absolute staple in the Protoss arsenal, especially against Terran. Yep, Charon boosters, Goliath range is being increased. Goliath's a very important part of this too. They don't usually come in until later, but Goliath Vulture tank is the trifecta, is the triumvirate of units that you really need to be good with if you're going to beat a good Protoss player, as Best is. Science vessels in production too. That EMP, excellent against Protoss. Everything has shields. Removing shields removes large amounts of HP. Large amounts from the enemy Protoss forces. And that plus, yep, ground weapons, plus what here? +1's already done, so +2's on the way. The Vulture sitting on +1 attack as well, with +2 in production. By golly, it is. It kind of just started. Here. And a lot of Spider Mines have died. I'd say the number of Spider Mines that have died compared to the number that have hit anything is not great. Vulture's trying to get a bit of a run by here. Where are they going? I don't know. Just Spider Mining, laying down them Spider Mines and slowing down the Dragoon's ability to chase them. Not that they can really catch them. They're really fast. They are super mega ultra fast. Oh, finding a small group of Dragoons kind of out in the middle of nowhere here. Spider Mines getting tossed down. The target firing on the Spider Mines is wonderful though. Out of Best. Wow, he is just not allowing them Spider Mines to hit anything. Meanwhile, Vultures and tanks here and making sure that this 4th base is not going to happen anytime soon for Best. Tanks on the high ground. Vultures need to pull the Dragoons back to the tank lines. That's what they got to do. Stop fighting here. Okay, well, I guess they were fighting there. Now the Dragoons should be able to handle it. Yes, they'll take some devastating shots to their forces, but at the end of the day, they're okay. They're just fine. Continuing to push with tanks is light across the very middle of the map. Not hiding these at all. Oh, there we go. Observer gets focused down thanks to the detection from the Science Vessel and the Goliaths from the ground here. Speedy Zealots are so good in this matchup. Speedy Zealots just going for it. Absorbing the shots, though, on those Spider Mines. You can hear their death sounds coming right on top of the tanks, though. Vultures in the back. Vultures doing that damage versus Zealots exceptionally well. Dragoons coming in here, too. The Zealots need to be tanking, absorbing the shots, and allowing the Dragoons to clear out what is left. Meanwhile, yeah, losing tanks very, very quickly. These Zealots, man, they are tanky and they hit hard. Dragoons finishing off Vultures. It is 145 to 115 total supply. Best, man. Best is rocking it right now. Wow. He is playing this style so well. There's a dropship. That's how we got the tanks up here earlier, I assume. Dropship is currently empty, though. Yep, it looks like it's empty. Dragoons pushing up north to defend their own base. It's kind of weird. It's a weird situation. Vultures are so fast they can counterattack exceptionally well and get in there and slip into areas where you didn't expect them to be able to get into. But the Dragoons were ready. They were positioned exceptionally perfectly there by Best. And see the Vultures coming back down around this side now, saying, all right, you're going to go north, we'll be south before you know it. So zippy. Such zip on these fellas. Sensor array being researched. Observer sight range, which I don't think I've seen in a game on my channel anyway. I mean, I know it's an upgrade, but it seems there are certain things that don't exist in multiplayer at the high level, right? Certain upgrades that just never ever get done. Units that never get built either. I'm trying to think actually in this matchup what units never get built. I guess firebats are pretty horrible in a high level TVP. They're good against the computer, right? Firebats and bunkers are great against zealots, great against lower level players too, but you just don't see the firebat against a good Protoss player because dragoons are so just prevalent, and they will focus down your firebats before they do anything. Dropship coming on in here again. There are 3 cannons at this 4th base, though. A 5th base coming up on the right side, too. The tank setting up is effectively denying mining on this 4th base entirely, forcing the entirety of Best's army to come up and deal with this thing, which is just... Oops, Spider-Man actually gets a hit off there. It's one of the first ones I've seen in a while. Dropship unloading some vultures here at the 3rd base location. A single zealot trying to get rid of these guys. The tanks are removed. The 4th and the 5th bases are stabilized for now. More vultures sneaking on in. And by sneaking, I mean running as fast as they can across standard traffic lines and just forcing Best to deal with it. Is this? I thought that was a building for a second. The squarish outline on that mini-map is excellent. It's very, very good. Dragoons. Blah, 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 blah. Pushing across the way. And SCV's just doing a bit of a Maynard transfer up to this 4th base location of Lights. So Best's doing really well economically. He has effectively taken his half of the map sooner than Light has done. But the mech's all about cost efficiency. It's all about trading well, which I think he's done so far. Vultures are incredibly cheap, 75 minerals per. So fast, so harassing, can hold their own fairly well against Dragoons. It's got to be a most hated unit by Protoss for sure. More Arbiters in production. I feel like we already have a couple. We do. Already have a couple. Was that a recall? Oh, it is. It's over here. Dang, over on the left side. I could hear it. I could hear the recall, but I couldn't actually see what was going on. So Dragoon's killing a lot of SCVs here. SCV's forced to fight for their own lives too, but this is enough tanks. Basically, most of Light's army is here now. Goliaths are trying to target down the Arbiter. They do manage to get it. Everybody is stranded and no longer cloaked. And Light stabilizes at least a little bit there. At least a teeny tiny bit. Another attack up into this 4th base location. Some Zealots are going to get in there and do some stuff while the Dragoons hold it off, right? They're trying to hold it off. What did you guys just EMP? Did you EMP these guys? Doesn't look like it. Everybody has their shields. Either way, Dragoons are trying to finish off this command center before they get destroyed by the tanks and the vultures, but the repair is too good. Out of Light, the repair is way, way too good. This battle is really nice, though. Zealous getting right on top of the stuff. Defensive matrix tossed down on this vulture. This vulture has 0 kills, but has been taking quite well. And finally, oh, the Arbiter lived? Are you kidding? Arbiter's alive. He's trying to sneak down. Ooh, got EMP'd, though. Oh, lost all of its energy and its shields. Nicely done. This Arbiter is effectively useless. And what it wants to do, it wants to drop here, but it can't. It doesn't have the energy to do the recall. Maybe it's going to hide out in some dead space here and come back in later. I suppose. Light pushing across the top section of the map. Spider mines getting hit. Once again, Zealots doing their job and absorbing. There are some High Templar in here. Do they have Storm is the question of the day. And yes, got a nice Storm on top of all of those tanks. Is it going to be enough to clear this thing out, though? I don't actually know. The Storm's amazing, but there are still 6 or 7 tanks remaining. Zealots, though, chewing them up pretty darn quickly, but eventually getting removed there, too. Tanks are sitting on +3 attack, as they should be at this stage of the game. Dragoons at +2 attack, working on +3, just about complete there, but not there yet. 137 to 187 total supply. Best has a huge advantage in total supply right now, which is kind of nuts. Nice stasis ward on a couple of these tanks and a couple of the vultures. I feel like maybe Best wishes it was a little bit better than that, but the tank spread is incredible right here. Dragoons coming from the top side, Dragoons coming from the right side. A lot of tanks just sitting back and trying to wreck everything that is coming from the Protoss player. But Zealots, Zealots say no. Zealots say get out. And that's all she wrote. Stasis lasts for a while. These guys, they're in timeout. They're in timeout for the foreseeable future. Oh, look at the time, though. Look at the time. The Zealots come in. Meanwhile, an attack on this 4th base of Light. This is not looking good for our Terran player. Not at all today. SCV's trying to retreat. Zealots finally getting on top of these tanks, but there are 3 Vultures, and I think the Vultures should be able to hang on, but 4th base of Light is toast. He's down to 3 bases. Best is comfortably sitting on 4 right now. 1, 2, 3, 5. We'll call it 5 because it is, because counting is not my strong suit, but I get there eventually. Is what I do. 183 to 134 total supply. Regrouping is Light. Look how fast those Arbiters are. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Zoomity zoom. I wonder where this Arbiter went. Might have tried to do something when I wasn't paying attention, but another attack at the front door of Best. Tanks are here. But the flank attack from the backside with the Zealots, that's not what you want. You don't want the 360 surround on your tanks. They're not quite sure what to do. Defensive Matrix being thrown down on a tank. It can absorb a lot more punishment, but not infinite punishment, and it has finally exploded thanks to the attacks from the Dragoons there. 167 and 116 total supply. I think Best has this thing. I don't want to cast or curse it. I haven't watched this game before. I don't know who wins. But that is a pretty big lead in supply, and plus losing that base was a big deal for Light. He's going to try to replant it. Observer with speed comes in. This is exactly what we're doing here. And all the orange on the map, a lot of this is spider mine. A lot of this just isn't army for Light. And so, yeah, it'll take some time to clear out, but we're going to start seeing the orange get removed a teeny tiny bit from this north section of the base. That is ground armor, which is always a fun icon. Absolutely no armor yet, but I guess Best figures once he's got +3 attack, might as well go for the armor too. This is what I'm going with. A lot of gateway units that will benefit from that armor upgrade. Bit of a surprise attack here. I don't know that Light was expecting this to be here. Neither did Best, but that's going to be it. Good game out of Light, recognizing that final attack was too much for him, and taps out with the very good-mannered GG. Whew, 21 minutes and 56 seconds. What a game. Man, Best just defending exceptionally well. His aggressive attacks on the other side of the map were beautiful, too. Arbiter play, got some nice stasis, got some nice recall play, too. Not a whole ton of it, but it was enough. And Light just couldn't economically keep up. Couldn't keep up with what was going on here. Those early bases were established quite early. Sure, he kind of had to delay mining from his 4th for a little bit with one of those drops, but not forever. It was absolutely not forever. So let's check out the final score here. I don't know why it's always the Zerg defeat screen on replays, but it is. Units produced 497 for Light compared to 332 for Best. The killed and kill to lost ratio really tells the story here too. Man, Light produced 497 units and only killed 200. That means everybody on average killed less than 2. Less than 2 in his army. Constructed exactly 70 buildings each, which is kind of interesting. Very, very few buildings killed. I mean, just because Light recognized he was done and he tapped out. But in the end, Best would have crushed him on that one. And then pretty even on gas mine, but minerals mined was way higher for Best. That's what those zealots were all about. And spent 53,000 resources compared to 45,000 too. So yeah, tried to be cost efficient there, but just got out macroed by Best did Light. And your Protoss is your hero winner today. Protoss fans rejoice. All right, so that's going to be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another StarCraft Brood War Remastered upload. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.